Right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning everyone. So today I'm going to discuss about the course information and the important information that you have to remember and follow. So this class is network communication and I am your lecturer. So first, let's look at the program learning outcome. These are all in the course information I have already put in the e-learning. So let's go through it. The program learning outcome is something that you, the student, will achieve after you finish your program, your BSE program. And every subject within the program would have specific PLOs that they will cater to. And in our subject, network communication, the PLOs that we are looking at is the PLO1, which is knowledge, PLO2, cognitive, and PLO4. And PLO4 here is interpersonal skill, and it is a soft skill. Okay, PLO1 and PLO2 are what we call the technical skills. So what is PLO1? PLO1 is knowledge understanding, where you should be able to analyze knowledge, facts, concepts, principles, and theories. It is related to software engineering because that's your program, but here we are taking the network communication theories, facts, and knowledge. PLO2 is cognitive, okay? So you should be able to design creative, innovative, and effective solutions. So in NetComm, this is where we see you doing it in the test and also the project. PLO4 is interpersonal skills, where you demonstrate effective collaboration with stakeholders professionally according to the professional software engineering practice. So our project is a group project that you would have to work together. So we are looking at the effective collaboration between all of you. So please do not be a silent partner. Okay, the next one is the course learning outcome. So if program learning outcome is something you achieve after the course, meaning the 4 years that you are going through, course learning outcome is specifically the outcomes that you would achieve after this course, network communication. So we have 4 CLOs. One is you should be able to apply the principles of computer networking and the operations of a computer network based on the TCP/IP Internet Protocol stack by employing system thinking to understand the interconnections among network components. CLO2 is applying system thinking to analyze and implement the different processes and algorithms within the layers of the TCP/IP protocol stack. CLO3 is analyzing network performance and behavior using Wireshark, packet tracer, and related hardware tools by applying critical thinking to interpret results and identify issues. CLO4 is to demonstrate collaborative skills by working together with diverse individuals to design a small local area network based on a real-world case study. So these are the CLOs. We're going to look at the layers of the TCP/IP. We're going to learn everything that happens in each layer as we go on. So there is a PLO attached to the CLO, meaning in CLO1, we are looking at PLO1, okay? And then these are the assessment methods. So if you see here, there will be a test 1, test 2, and a final over here. And then for CLO2, there is a test 1, test 2, final, and a group report. So it takes both of these for your test. For every layer that we learn, okay, then there will be a test. For example, for the whole of chapter 1 and half of chapter 2, chapter 1 is the introduction, chapter 2 is application layer. So for these 1.5 chapters, it will be in test 1. Okay. CLO3 will be assessed through your labs. Labs are individual work. And then there are a total of 5 labs. And then here it is assessed on the project. This is the group project and also group report and a personal report. Now here, if you look at the taxonomies here, This is how or what you are expected to reach, the level you are expected to reach. C here is cognitive level. So we are following what we call the Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, C3, C4, C4. So I will explain to you what these means in a little bit. So this is the cognitive level. So this, what you see here, is what we call the Bloom's taxonomy. Ignore this thing, ignore that for a little bit, okay? So here, if you see down here, this is C1. So the first layer is remembering. Remembering is basically, if I tell you today that 1 plus 1 is 2, tomorrow you remember 1 plus 1 is 2, okay? Layer 2 or C2 is understanding. You understand why 1 plus 1 equals to 2. Layer 3 is applying. You can apply it. So if 1 plus 1 is 2 and you understand it, now if I give you 4 plus 1, you can apply it and say, oh, it's 5. Level 4 is analyze. You can break down the component, okay, and then create something. So this is where you go in, you think about your test, you think about your project until this level. So your exams will be, up to this level. Previously, last semester, the faculty has asked us to do a 20% lots and 80% HOTS in exam. What is lots and HOTS? Lots, LOTS, is lower order thinking skills, meaning under here. This is lower order thinking skills. So that will be C1 and C2. And then that will be 20% of your exams. Test 1, test 2, and also final. And then 80% will come from up here. Okay, 80% higher order thinking skills, thoughts. So we come from up here. So you need to be able to come to that level. So if you are somebody just memorizes without understanding, you might have a problem with this class. Okay, so strive for understanding. So this is where all the levels that we are looking for the cognitive level. Okay, I will just reiterate the cognitive level. Create is C6. Remember is C1. So remember is recall only. Understand, explain with your own words. Apply, use the knowledge to or on another setting or situation. Analyze, compare, and contrast the information. Evaluate, give judgment, and think about the impact. Create, synthesize the knowledge. Okay, this is the key points in the Bloom taxonomy. Your soft skill is PLO4, which is interpersonal skill. So if you notice, here, it says C7, okay? So we go all the way up to here. We go all the way up to there. So basically, in the soft skill, you have to be able to do all of these things, like convey ideas in writing clearly, verbally communicate, listen actively, make clear presentations to a diverse audience. So all of that you have to do, okay? That is the level I want to see in your project. Okay, this is the grading. This is how we divide the assessment and their percentage. So there, as I said, there is 5 labs and the total is 15%. Test 1 is 15%. Test 2 is 15%. Final exam is 40%. Project report is 10%. And personal report is 5%. Okay, so within the project report 10%, 5% is the report itself, how you write, clearly, as a group, whatever, and the other 5% is the content itself. Okay, so if you write beautifully but there is no content, then your marks will suffer. So this is our weekly schedule, what we expect to do. As you have noticed, we have kind of like run away a little bit, but it is okay. All right, so this is what we're going to cover throughout the semester. And then here on the right hand side, sorry, you would see that I have set the exam. See, test 1 is 15%. What is the chapter that it covers? It covers all of chapter 1 and chapter 2 until web and HTTP. So until here, okay? Principles of network applications, web and HTTP. So all of that will be in test 1. Email until all of chapter 3 will be in test 2. And these are the dates. So please make sure that you are available. Okay. And then final exam will cover the last 4 chapters. Actually, here you would see that in the network layer, there is the data plane and control plane. So there are 2 different chapters here. So there's 2, 3, and 4 chapters. Okay, important news. Beginning of semester 2, 24-25, UBSC students are following this rule set by the Senate. Okay, all students must adhere to the following to pass a computing course. You must both pass continuous assessment and the final assessment. Okay, and also get at least a minimum pass mark following UTM regulation. What does passing continuous assessment and final assessment mean? The passing mark for continuous assessment is 30% of the continuous assessment. And the passing mark for final assessment is 20% of the final marks. Okay, let me show you an example. So here, this is our assessments. Okay, so the blue one is considered continuous assessment, and the yellow one is considered final assessment. So to pass, this is your marks that you have to pass. You have to have at least 18 over 60. And for final, you have to get at least 8 over 40. So let's look at some examples on this. Okay, this is the continuous assessment, final assessment, and then let's look at the final grade. So let's look at student 1. His continuous assessment is 20 over 60. So he passed. His final assessment is 18 over 40. He passed, but his total marks is 38. He fails because even though you pass both, you still need to get at least 40 total marks to pass. We still follow that. Okay, let's look at student 2. He has 40 over 60, but he failed his, so minimum is 8. This person got a 6. So although his passing mark, he achieves the passing mark, which is 46, but he will fail because he failed the final component. Okay, so student 3, he barely passed the continuous assessment, failed the final assessment, and of course his marks is very low. So in all things that count, this student fails. And then student 4, he has 40% out of 60 and has 8, the very minimum for the final assessment. His marks is over the passing grade and he passes. It's very important for you to make sure that every assessment, be it lab, be it project, be it test, you do that to the best of your ability. Okay? So 8 out of 40 for the final exam is about 20 out of 100. Definitely you can do that. If you cannot do that, something is really wrong. Okay, the do's and don'ts of my class. In my class, you come early. Okay, come in before I come in, because I come in, I start teaching. If you come late, you are disturbing the other students who are learning. You're opening the doors, shuffling in, so you're disturbing other people. So please come early. Hook up with the dictionary, okay, or go to dictionary.com, free dictionary, so that you can understand words. There are words that you may not know, but this is a learning process. You have to learn. Do hand in your assignment or lab sheets or whatever on time. If I ask you to do something, do it on time. Don't send in late, okay? Do work hard and work smart. A little a day makes more sense than cramming at the end. Some students say, oh, I work best under pressure. No, you don't. You think you work best under pressure. Especially if you don't understand, suddenly you want to cram, that's not going to work. After every class, okay, after every chapter, depending on you, look at it and then assess yourself. Do I understand this? What is it that I don't understand? Ask in class if you don't understand. If something is really bothering you, make an appointment to come see me so that we can discuss it. Read the textbook. We have a textbook, and read the textbook. Don't just rely on the slides. The slides are minimal. We don't have everything in there. Although some students say that we have a lot of slides and they cannot memorize. Don't memorize, understand. Okay? Do prepare before lectures and labs. You know what I'm going to teach. You know when, because I'll put it in e-learning. So please be prepared before you come to class. Read ahead. Prepare your labs, read the labs before you do it. Some students, they just attempt the lab while they are reading it, so they miss important parts in it. Assess your understanding at crucial points. Okay, I said that already. Participate in class and all feedback given. You will notice as we go on that I have a lot of surveys, a lot of feedbacks, a lot of, to get you, firstly, for me to better my class and my teaching. Secondly, for you to look at yourself. Okay, it's called reflection. You reflect on how you study. You reflect on how you do the work for this class. You reflect on your attitude and become better. So that's the reason. Do not be late. Tardiness is not something I value. Tardy means being late. Okay? Don't keep quiet when you have a question. Some students say, I'm the only one who don't understand. Other people understand. Well, most probably 80% of the class don't understand as well. So just ask your question. Okay? I cannot look at you and say, he doesn't understand this. I need to repeat. I don't have that magical powers. Okay? Don't be late in handing in your work. Okay, lateness is this. Either I won't accept it, meaning you get 0, or I accept it, but I deduct marks very heavily. Don't memorize the slides. It's not going to help you. Okay, some students have come to me after their test saying, look at the slides, the textbook. It says this, it should. No, you didn't understand the question. Because you memorize, the questions are not straightforward. Remember, the questions are like C3, 4, 5, 6. So you do have to sort of like think and mix it and discuss things. So not just straightforward memorizing sentences from the slides or the textbook. Don't be a silent partner. When you're doing your project, don't be a silent partner. Labs are individual work. Project is group work. Okay? So usually I handle those silent partners by giving them less marks. But you within the group need to tell me what is going on. Okay, don't cheat. I put it in red and I bolded because I cannot stand cheaters. So if you cheat in any form, it will be dealt with severely. Okay? Don't be unprepared for evaluations and assessments. You know when the test is going to happen. You know what is in the test. Right? Both tests I just explained. So you know that you should be prepared. Don't put things to the last minute. Whatever the work is, don't put things on the last minute. Okay, some extras. Absence must be accompanied with a letter or medical certificate. I take attendance seriously. And it seems the new Deputy Dean of Academic takes attendance seriously too. So we have been advised to give them information about the percentage of attendance at week 4, week 6, and week 8. At any point, if you have less than 80, you would be in trouble. So suggest don't miss classes. Come to class. Be alive in class. What I mean is that some students, they are physically in class, but their mind is elsewhere. Especially if the class is online, we don't even know if they are physically in class because they log in and then they do whatever, and we don't know. But it's your life, it's your studies. You make the right decision. Visit e-learning regularly because that's where I put everything. So I am a person who does not like, I don't like, oh, miss, I don't know. Oh, I forgot. Oh, no, I don't like those things. Okay? So please be aware. There are no re-exam of anything. Oh, I didn't come for test 1. Can I do a re-exam? For what reason? Oh, my family went on a holiday. No. Even if you give me an MC on the day of the exam, some students do this. On the day of the exam, they go to the UTM clinic, okay, and then they get an MC. I will call to see what is the matter actually. And the doctors also have known about this illness that they don't give you MC, they give you a slip saying, at this time you were there. That is not an MC, okay? So take care of your health, don't miss tests. Classes are early for some. It's a struggle, okay? But you need to sacrifice and be there on time. And not just be there, you have to be, as I said, alive in class, okay? It is important to set your priorities right. Some of you may be sports persons, that you play a sport, or you are very sociable, and then you have like society things and, you know, organizations and whatever. Studies come first. Okay. I am a person who don't like people missing classes because they have to go play football or whatever. Why? Because a lot of students, when they miss class, they don't make the effort to actually review the class with their friends. So it's zero for a long time. It's not going to help the student. Also, if you guys get a C, okay, when we present, all the lecturers have to present their course assessment report at the end of the semester. And we, the lecturer, would be questioned, why did this student fail? Why did this student get a C? What are the things? We would be, put into the blame. Okay? So it is important to set your priorities right. Okay. Always read exam questions carefully. I will, inshallah, do a session where we go through how to answer questions. Okay. All answers will be checked for plagiarism. So if found to be so, you get 0. I don't ask, like, did you cheat? Did you copy this? I don't ask. I just give you 0. Okay. Labs are individual. You need to do it, understand it. Now remember, labs are basically the same as the previous semester. So some student, they ask their senior, they just copy paste. They don't understand. And what we do as lecturers, sometimes we take from the lab test and then we devise a question from that. So if you copy paste, you don't understand, you cannot ask the question. Okay. I know you will have a lot of work to do because you are a student. Okay, there is a lot of work to do, but exercises, I'll give you exercises, homeworks, is done to help you understand and master content. If you have read the e-learning, you know I don't give you past year papers. I give you homework for you to do. Okay. Okay, on communication with me, don't message me after 8:30 p.m. Either I may read it because, you know, messages comes in, sometimes you just click and read, but then I forget to reply, or I reply it tomorrow. So respect my time as I will yours. Do write using formal language in full sentences. Yes, you are the hip and trendy generation, but when you treat your lecturers and supervisors, please use formal languages. In communication, always introduce who you are. I have many students. I have your class, which is 2 sections, and then I have my weekend classes. I have also students that we have, how do you call it? We have an agreement with students in Kurdistan, and then I have master students, and then I have my PSM students, and then I have my academic advisee. Okay, I'm also handling the PSM for the faculty. So there is a lot of students. So it's best for you when you message me, either in WhatsApp or in email, to tell me your name, what you are, and what you're asking, so that I can directly handle it. For example, I am Ali Ahmad from your NetComm section 8, for example. So use that. That way I can directly connect to what you're doing, and rather than trying to filter. I usually, if I see a question, I will ask, who are you? That will make me really mad. So start with this, okay? So when you need to pass me something like an absent note, an MC, a letter or something, always email me, okay? I don't keep your number. So when you WhatsApp, it will be lost in the tens of thousands of WhatsApp that I get every day. So best for those things, you email me. Make appointments when you come see me, okay? And state what you want to discuss. Why make appointments? We are busy. We have a lot of things to do. If you make an appointment, say you want to come see me on Thursday at 10, I say, okay. And then the deans call me at 10. I will say, I will come after I meet the student because you made an appointment. Okay. Alrighty. Then give me a minute. Okay. Now, make an appointment so that I can set a time aside for you. State what you want to discuss. Remember, I have a lot of students. So if you say what you want, I can prepare. For example, I want to come to you and talk about the project. So I know to have my project things ready so that you come in, we directly can discuss. Okay, project. Project is teamwork. find a good team. Usually I ask the class if I would set the team, they never want it. So you guys go ahead and find a good team. I would not assign you to a team. Okay. Now, there are students who come late. Let's say after you submit task 1, they come in. They have to do task 1 or they get 0. They are not going to ride on your work. I am very, very fair and very, very just. Okay. Work out a meeting schedule to discuss planning, progress, and whatsoever. Your first task will be due on week 3. So you'll be online, right now. It's best to discuss what to do, whatever, and so on. Meeting minutes are to be submitted, and this is compulsory. I would say for every task, there should be 2 meeting minutes. 1 meeting to talk about the task and, distribute the work. The second meeting is about the results of the work and how to put things together. So at least for every task, there should be 2 meetings, and those meetings must be in a minute. There is a template for the meeting minutes in the project document. Do not be an unproductive partner. There are some people who just sit in a group and then they expect to get the marks with the group, but the other group members are the one doing all the work. So if team members are not functioning, let me know. We can take action. We can kick unfunctioning members out of the group. And when they are kicked out of the group, they don't go into another group. They have to do their work individually. Okay? So we don't put the rotten tomatoes with other tomatoes because it will make the other tomatoes rotten. So they have to do it individually. There is a rubric for every task. That should be your guide. Okay. There's like, what is it that we are expecting for task 1, task 2, and where the marks are going to be. And you need to look at that to guide your work. Some students don't. And then they are surprised when their marks are low. Okay. I will give you specific feedback on task 1, task 2, and task 3. After that, for task 4, task 5, and task 6, I expect for you to be able to govern yourself. Okay, to govern yourself. You have the interpersonal skills, right? So to govern yourself. You can talk with other groups, discuss. This is about you being a mature student, a mature human being. Okay, if you have questions, come to me. You can ask at the end of the class. You can ask me, in an email, or come see me in my office and then we can discuss. No problem. But there are students who WhatsApp me and then they send me their report and say, is this okay? I usually reply with, I am not your group member. Okay, I'm not your group member. There are 4 people in a group. So discuss in a group. Don't ask me if this is good, because you have to, that is the process. The process is discuss, explore, research, and then, write the report. But if you are unsure of a specific thing, for example, I put the router here, but I'm not quite sure if this is right. What is your opinion? Okay, that is okay, because it's a learning process. All right? Okie dokie. This is the textbook. James Burrows and Keith Ross, Burrows and Ross, Computer Networking, a top-down approach. I believe this book is in the library. You can also buy this book. Your seniors have been using the 7th edition, but we have been updating to the 8th edition. So work smart and good luck. I will now explain to you about the project. So give me a minute. Okay, let's look at the project. The project is running for the whole semester. Okay, there is 6 tasks, 1 until 6, that you have to do and submit. And in the project document, the date for every task is clearly stated in there. So the project is basically, we're going to give you a case study. The case study is basically, is at the end of the project document. The case study is basically that the faculty is trying to build a new building that will host like a few labs and video conferencing rooms and a hybrid classroom and so on, where you have to create the building, put in the labs, and then you would have to buy the equipment. I'll give you a budget later after you have a group, and then you'll have to buy equipment, cable the equipment, do the IP addressing. So these are the different tasks that you have to do. So basically, for the project is about understanding user customer needs and planning them around the budget given. Now, how do you know your customer's needs? One, you read the case study. Secondly, you ask questions about the faculty to me. I am the faculty representative in your class. For example, if you have any questions about the faculty, you ask me. I would say whether or not I will answer it, or that is not relevant, or I ask you to research, because sometimes students ask me a lot of questions that they are supposed to research. Okay, so ask me. I am the faculty representative. I am the customer. The project also looks into planning and designing a network infrastructure for current and future needs, research and application of network devices, availability, usability, the cost and service, calculate and apply network IP addressing, and reporting your work to the customer. Reporting your work to the customer is very important. Imagine yourself in this project to be the network consultant. So when you are, presenting or reporting to the customer, that is the faculty, you have to write in a way that is professional. What is professional? Okay, you follow good report writing practices. There is the front page, there's introduction, there's table of content, maybe a summary, executive summary, and then what is where, figures are labeled. Okay, so those kind of things. So you have to follow that. You cannot just paste something into a report and call it a report. Shouldn't be that. Okay, let's look at the first task. First task is project setup. Okay, here we basically want you to create your team, 3 to 4 people. Okay, so because classes is growing and shrinking because students are inserting and deleting, make sure you have yourself. So let's say your group is 3 people and then a new student comes in, most probably you will get it, okay, to make the 4. So think about your group members and then come up with a group name. When I call you to excuse me, to mention the project, I will call you by your group name. Okay, don't have a very long group name. Have a good group name. Okay, and then read the case study thoroughly. The case study is at the end of the project document. As I said, make sure you understand it. Okay, I would suggest each of you reading it individually, and then come up with the important points, meet and see whether your important points are the same. That way, you may miss something, but the other member see it, or you all see the very same thing, so there is an agreement. All right. So you need to create your own building layout. It is 2 stories. Do however you want. And the design is based on the requirements, meaning what should be inside the building. So if they say 4 labs, 4 labs, one video conferencing, one video conferencing. So you have to follow the needs, okay? And draw the floor plan with actual scale. What does actual scale means? Meaning in your drawing, 1 centimeter is reflecting to, let's say, 1 meter. So if the drawing, if I put a ruler there, it says 10 centimeters, it means it's 10 meters. Okay, that's the scale. You have to do it correctly. There was once, a couple of years ago, a student did a building that is 14 kilometers long, 1-4. Because his scale is wrong, it's like 1 centimeter, 1 kilometer or something like that. So it becomes like 14 kilometers long, which is like, that's illogical, okay? So you can use any software, okay? Any software, not draw by hand, okay? And then make sure the results are clear and readable. Make sure it's labeled clearly. Okay, deliverables. Deliverables are things that you have to submit. This is compulsory to be in your report. The files you have to submit. So 1, you have to submit group name and members. So you have to say, in front page, let's say group name, I don't know, chocolate smoothie or whatever, and then the group members, who they are, okay? Suggested floor plan that you drew just now, based on the case study, that floor plan. And then report appendix. Now, when I say suggested floor plan, there has been students who just like, give me a floor plan, no explanation. Remember when I said when you do reporting, it has to be professional? Remember that. Okay, in the report appendix, your projected marks based on rubrics. Okay, let's jump into rubrics for a second. Okay, this is the project assessment rubric. So it is given by task. Let's look at task 1. Do you have the group name and members? Yes, you get 2 marks. Okay, suggestive. Does it fit the description as per the case study? If it does, you get 2 marks. Is it a total of 30 workstation and other? This is depending on the case study, what it says in the case study. If you follow that, you get 2 marks. The scale is correct. If the scale is correct and clear, then it's 1 mark. Okay. And then it's clear and readable, has appropriate labels. So there you go. Creativity. Okay. This is the time for you to make your own building. Want to make the building octagon, circular, square, triangle, star shape, whatever you design, but make sure it's logical. Because, for example, labs, they have a certain size that you have to follow. The size is in the case study, so read there. So this, the rubric, what you need to have to get the, and then there's rubric for every task. That's 2, that's 3, 4, 5. Okay, and also 6. Okay, let's go back to the project. When I say your projected marks based on rubrics, use the rubric, put down and say how much marks you should get. Now, this is for me to remind you to check your work. For example, you go, oh, we don't have the group name and members in the report. So then you add it so that you get the, okay, it's like a guide. So follow that. Some students just paste it and then give themselves full marks, but they don't have those things. I check your work, okay? And then every member's task and work within this task, meaning you have 4 people in the group. What did everybody do? Okay, student A, he did this. Student B, he did this. And also meeting minutes. All the meeting minutes you have for the specific task. So if it's 2, it's 2. If it's 3, it's 3. Doesn't matter. Now, why do I need this? This is where I look at what you did. All group members cannot have the same exact marks. You could if everybody is doing their job, and one person cannot do research all the time. One person cannot do review all the time. Okay, so you have to be doing everything. So I will look at that to give you your final marks. Okay. Okay, task 1 is due on week 3. This is the date. Before 5 p.m., submit a PDF file. When I say PDF file, please submit a PDF file. Why I ask you to submit a PDF file is because sometimes a Word file would sort of like be skewed when I open it because it's a different device. So PDF doesn't change. So best to submit a PDF. Submit it to e-learning. Okay, so the tip here is be logical and mature about this. Think of yourself as a network consultant, and this is a contract. We are paying you a certain amount of money for you to do this project. So you do have to give us results. Okay, and we ask you results based on tasks. So there you go. This is task 1. Now, task 2 is initial design preliminary analysis. We know you haven't done this before. Okay, you have used network, yes. You have used the internet, yes. But you haven't looked into what happens at the back of a router, for example. Okay, so here you may have questions. So this task is for you to come up with questions to guide you in the project. You have to make at least 10 questions. Now, I would like to state here that some of your seniors, what they have done is that they plug this into ChatGPT and say, generate questions. So ChatGPT will give you questions. The thing about it is ChatGPT goes for a specific thing. So there will be like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 groups that sends me the same questions. Of course, I know it's AI generated, and it doesn't help with your project at all. Right? So you start this. My suggestions will be the 4 of you do a brainstorming session. Just say, oh, I need to know this. I need to know that. Okay. So make that into question. You might have like 40 questions. Doesn't matter. And then you can scale it down to 10 or 15 or 20. Okay. So these questions, okay, there are some of it that you have to research yourself. Don't research on blogs. Okay, blogs are not reputable resources because blogs are not reviewed. So you go into like the white papers and journal papers and conference papers and books. Those are good. So there are questions that you have to research yourself. There are questions that you can ask me, the faculty representative, and I will answer them. Okay. So what are the examples of the question? For example, the things that you have to research, right? What are the requirements needed for a good video conferencing? Okay, so what do you need? Do you need to have a specific mic, a specific device? How do you, reduce noise, for example, right? So that's only one. So you ask questions like that and you explore. What are the questions you can ask me as the faculty representative? So what you can ask me is basically, do we need to buy software? And I will answer that. And I will say like, for example, we don't need to buy that software because it will be provided by the UTM Digital. So questions regarding the faculty in UTM, I will answer. Questions that you have to research and explore, you answer. And for every question, you must have reference and citations. Okay? Don't just copy paste. You have reference and citation. So you need to, now some students ask question that doesn't help them with the project. It is needed in the real life network management infrastructure, but it's not in your project. Okay, for example, what are the physical remote backups that we need? No, we don't need that. But because you ask ChatGPT, ChatGPT gives you that. The question is not wrong, but it doesn't help you with this project. So be logical, be mature. Find the answers to those questions either through interviewing the user or researching it. Determine the feasibility of the project. Explain your reason. So is the project feasible? Can we do it? Okay. What is feasibility? So you go and find out and you write your feasibility of the project. So what are the deliverables for task 2? 1, list of all the questions and their answers. A minimum of 10. If you go more, it doesn't matter. Okay. There was once a group that wanted to show me they are hardworking, I guess. They gave me like 30 questions and 30 answers. But half of the questions are not quality questions. It doesn't help you with the project at all. Okay. For example, what is the topology that we are going to use? It's a good question, but it's not a question that you have to give the whole slide or document regarding topology 2, 3, 4 pages. A simple one, a simple answer. Okay. Then you have to explain your feasibility answer and the reasoning behind your answer. Let's say you say it's feasible. Why is it feasible? How is it feasible? Report appendix, you should add your projected marks based on rubrics, every member's task work within the task, and also the meeting minutes for this task. And then it is due on week 5. Okay. So then they have task 3, which is choosing the appropriate LAN devices. And then task 4 is making the connections. Making the connections is basically looking at the cabling, how you are going to cable. Our building is 2 stories. So this example is a 3-story. Our building is 2 stories. So how do you have your, vertical cabling and horizontal cabling and where you put everybody and where are you going to put your gateway, where are you going to put your routers? You don't have to do it all of this now. As we learn, you will get the information. Then you will start your task. It will help you understand what we are learning. Okay, then we have, these are the cables, possibly. And then we have task 5 is IP addressing. And task 6 is the final report, documentation and reflections. I even give you the group report outlines. You can follow this. Okay. So these are some final thoughts on the task, the teamwork. So please read this. There is a reason it's being put there. I'm not going to read for you. Okay. So this is the case study I sent. So please read this. Okay. Don't worry about the IP addressing scheme and the budget. I will assign it after I get your group, meaning after task 1, when I get the group name and the group members, and then I will assign the budget and the IP addressing. Now, don't worry about it, because I don't say, oh, I like this student, I give them more money. I don't do that. I do it randomly. Okay, I do it randomly. So if you get a low one, you get a low one. If you get a high one, you get a high one, because that is life. Okay, so you might have to struggle a little bit if you have a lower budget, but you can write a sort of like a small report requesting for extra budget. But in that report, you must justify how much you need, what do you need it for, and why do you need it. Okay, then if it is really good, I will maybe grant you the extra budget. Okay, okay. So this is the meeting minute template. So follow this template. Okay, follow this. So that is your project. The project is in the e-learning. So I would suggest you, excuse me, use the time to discuss as a group to finish your project. So this is the end of today's information video. So I'll see you in class. Goodbye and good luck.